when Bobi Wine said, started my international engagements today with meetings on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Free Uganda now. Then Miguna Miguna went on to say, the wrong place to start and pause for images. Washington, D.C. is the headquarters of imperialism, genocide, war crimes, and human rights violations. No legitimate Pan-African or freedom fighter takes pride in the citadel of slavery and savagery. Quite some choice words there.
I started fighting with Gaddafi before you started.
Museveni says that with a smirk and a smug. I started fighting Gaddafi before you started. So save me that talk of Pan-Africanism. Museveni poses as a Pan-Africanist and Gaddafi used to pose as a Pan-Africanist. But now here's Museveni exposing himself of being a soft seeker who doesn't even care about the Pan-African values.
Museveni is not your problem.
What is the problem?
Your policies are your problem.
Not the person.
Not the person. You can put Bobi Wine tomorrow. There's nothing Bobi Wine will change. Because the same policies that I'm telling you about, unless you transform the system.
The system is transformed by the leadership. The current leadership is led by Yoweri Museveni. So if the president is not willing to build institutions, change systems, and come up with new policies, then he's held accountable to that. He's trying to make sure Museveni evades responsibility. I mean, he's been managing this country for 40 years and he's not the problem. So who is the problem? These systems and the policies and the institutions he's talking about are built by people. And yes, indeed, broadcasting to you from these United States of the Americas. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. From wherever you're watching me and at whatever time you might watch this broadcast. My name is Mordecai Murisa, and you're welcome to Mordecai Murisa Live. Exactly. I immensely appreciate you if you are from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. Asante sana. The East African community and the rest of you folks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be having a conversation about a very, very interesting conversation or a very interesting topic, which is Pan-Africanism. And the hypocrisy of some folks. I think yesterday there was an attack issued out by Miguna Miguna, a Kenyan lawyer and advocate of the Kenyan High Court. He's currently practicing law as an attorney and barrister and a solicitor in Toronto, Canada. He lives in Canada, but he continues to pose as a Pan-Africanist. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know I have so much admiration and reverence for Miguna Miguna. But him resorting time to attack Bobi Wine is punching below the belt, and it exposes hypocrisy like I'm going to be showing you tonight. I think I should show you what he said, then we shall start from there. As we continue to fight the Museveni criminal regime that is deeply entrenched in our system, it's going to take, so many ways. It's not going to be easy because some of the victims of the criminal regime have sort of fallen in love. Call it a Stockholm Syndrome sort of a condition where they know the situation is not good, the country is not moving on the right path, but regardless, they continue supporting that decadent system. So if you're going to take on the Museveni regime, you have to use all ways. If it requires you to run in an election, do it. If it is engaging global partners and funders of the Museveni or donors to the Museveni regime, do it. And I know when you do all these kind of things, you're going to have people attacking you, thinking that probably the strategy you're using is not as efficient. And in some moments, they could be just fine. But hey, I'm not going to listen to hypocrites. And one of them is none other than Miguna Miguna. I'll show you what he said when Bobi Wine posted a picture of himself at Capitol Hill. This is what he said. Read. I'm going to read you here verbatim. He said, when Bobi Wine said, started my international engagements today with meetings on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Free Uganda now. Then Miguna Miguna went on to say, the wrong place to start and pause for images. Washington, D.C. is the headquarters of imperialism, genocide, war crimes, and human rights violations. No legitimate Pan-African or freedom fighter takes pride in the citadel of slavery and savagery. Quite some choice words there. He's defining Washington, D.C. as all those things. Really? So how do you want us to fight back? What really makes me angry is the complete silence when Ugandans are being attacked, when they're being oppressed by their own people, and you don't hear a thing from the likes of Miguna Miguna. But the moment one of us engages the West, that's the way they draw the line. They'll be like, no, you cannot engage the West. When you refer to Washington as a citadel for slavery and savagery, I'll tell you, dude, I've seen savagery and slavery in Uganda. I've interviewed people who have been subjected to conditions that slaves were not subjected to. Not all slaves, but I've seen the worst. You cannot imagine what Museveni has done to our people. Isn't it funny that as we are going through this operation, there's someone who is on the other side telling us of how we should fight back? He's not joining us, but he's telling us, hey, I think you should fight this way. How about you join me? Come and strategize with me. They're wanting to choose for us whom we should engage in our fight against Museveni's tyranny. But he hides behind something, Pan-Africanism. And Museveni, at the same time, he hides himself in the same. He's a Pan-Africanist. They're not Pan-Africans at all. These are complete charlatans, scoundrels. I mean, let me give you here. There's a video evidence of Museveni bragging about fighting Muammar Gaddafi. Now, Muammar Gaddafi has a lot of admiration from sections of people within the African continent, probably across the world. And they say, oh, the West fought Gaddafi because he was a Pan-Africanist. He wanted to bring Africa together. Dude, do you want to convince me that Muammar Gaddafi ruled Libya for 42 years without opposition? Obviously, you say, no, there was opposition. That's why I ask, how did he treat his opposition? How? And after telling me how he treated his opposition, tell me if his opposition would say no to any form of help, regardless of where it was coming from. Would they say no? So probably before we pull out this Pan-Africanist card, we learn the basic styles of leadership, the basics of leadership over treating people like human beings with respect, kindness, and love. You're not going to attack your people, subject them to slavery, and say like, oh, and then tell them you cannot ask for help from Europe or from Canada or from USA. Absolutely not. Let me show you here. Like I told you, Gaddafi was a darling, is still a darling to so many people who believe that he was a Pan-Africanist. He's not my darling at all. But I want to show you here. Museveni was bragging before President, the late Ronald Reagan. Listen to what he said. This is Museveni.
To meet with President Reagan.
I'm aware of Mr. Gaddafi's approaches and efforts to get a foothold in your part of Africa.
Listen.
And I just like to intervene and caution. I don't think he has worthy causes either that he's promoting. I think he has some kind of world revolutionary idea.
I started fighting with Gaddafi before you started.
Museveni says that with a smirk and a smug. I started fighting Gaddafi before you started. So save me that talk of Pan-Africanism. Museveni poses as a Pan-Africanist and Gaddafi used to pose as a Pan-Africanist. But now here's Museveni exposing himself of being a soft seeker who doesn't even care about the Pan-African values. Look at his face when he said that. I started fighting Gaddafi before you started. He laughed. Let's listen to this again one more time. This is Museveni saying, listen.
It's a kind of world revolutionary idea.
I started fighting with Gaddafi before you started.
I started fighting Gaddafi before you started. But Museveni wants to pose as a Pan-Africanist. And you have folks who have sympathies towards Gaddafi, who believe that he was a Pan-Africanist, who don't believe that Museveni is a Pan-Africanist. But they will be contradicted now because they look at Museveni, who fought Gaddafi before. He say, listen, those folks who say the West fought Gaddafi, I think they should direct their head towards Museveni, their scorn and disgust towards Museveni, because he started fighting Gaddafi before the West even intervened. Okay, the hypocrisy of these people. Now, let me show you, this is information online. Wikipedia, read here. This is about Miguna Miguna. He said, he was detained by the Moi regime and expelled from university in 1987 for championing multi-party democracy in Kenya. I don't think those were Western puppets. I don't think those were white people arresting and expelling him from Kenya. This was an African man, Moi, arresting and expelling an African man in Miguna Miguna. Okay, here they say, upon his release, he fled to the neighboring Tanzania on foot, where he was granted asylum by, wait for it, read there. He was granted asylum by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Okay, let's go here. Staying there briefly before being granted asylum in the United Kingdom of Swaziland. Subsequently, he was granted permanent political asylum in Canada in 1988, where he continued to pursue his higher education. He obtained a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science and Philosophy from University of Toronto in 1990, and thereafter studied law at Osgoode Hall Law School of York University in Toronto, obtaining Juris Doctor degree in 1993. He was admitted to Ontario by 1995. He obtained a Master's Law. They are telling you. And then later on, do you know what happened? He went on to become a citizen of Canada, not of Tanzania, no. Not of Swaziland, absolutely not. Not a citizen in Uganda, no. A citizen of Canada. But he's the one who wants to tell you about Pan-Africanism. What happened? When you were expelled from Uganda, you should have sought refuge in Zimbabwe. You should have sought refuge in Uganda. In Swaziland, where you went, you should have stayed there. You should have said, I'm an African man, I love Africa so much. See, I'm not going to become a Canadian citizen. No, they don't believe. They use Pan-Africanism as a talking point. They don't care at all. The Miguna Miguna of this world. Pan-Africanism. He enjoys the comfort, the security in Canada, but laughs at you if you engage partners of Canada. Make it make sense. These are complete hypocrites. But they usually pose like they have this special knowledge about how countries should be managed. No, they don't. Another guy that's a complete hypocrite is that guy called Maponga. I think at one time I saw him saying, Museveni is not the problem. Let me show you. Let me show you here. You're going to laugh. This is this Maponga guy. He's a Pan-Africanist who communicates in English all the time. Listen.
Museveni is not your problem.
Who is the problem?
I think he is.
No, listen to me, young man, and slow down.
Oh, listen to me, young man. Listen to that smag.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'll help you to grow.
I'll help you to grow. Listen to that condescending tone. I will help you to grow. Listen to me, young man.
Yes.
Museveni is not your problem.
Okay.
What is the problem?
Your policies are your problem.
Who implements those fake policies? Museveni has been in the management of our country for 40 years. How come he doesn't build institutions and the systems or policies?
Not the person.
Not the person. You can put Bobi Wine tomorrow. There's nothing Bobi Wine will change.
No, let's go back here. Lies.
Listen to me, young man, and slow down. Don't put words in my mouth. I will help you to grow.
Yes.
Museveni is not your problem.
What is the problem?
Your policies are your problem,
Not the person.
not the person. You can put Bobi Wine tomorrow. There's nothing Bobi Wine will change, because the same policies that I'm telling you about, unless you transform the system.
The system is transformed by the leadership. The current leadership is led by Yoweri Museveni. So if the president is not willing to build institutions, change systems, and come up with new policies, then he's held accountable to that. He's trying to make sure Museveni evades responsibility. I mean, he's been managing this country for 40 years and he's not the problem. So who is the problem? These systems and the policies and the institutions he's talking about are built by people. And number one citizen of Uganda is Yoweri Museveni. He's supposed to be overseeing all these institutions. So listen to how they usually run away from responsibilities.
There's nothing that a leader can do.
What?
So you put a leader in parliament who simply manages the same colonial system.
There's nothing a leader can do. What is he even talking? What does that supposed to mean? There's nothing a leader can do. Then why do we elect people? What?
There will be no difference, young man. You can put as many leaders and change as many as you want. That's why America can even put a dog as the president of America, and America will run.
Do you know why? That you can put a dog in the White House and America can run? Because America's citizens and the presidents and the leaders build institutions. They don't come out of the blue. When it says, oh, a leader can't do anything, it sounds like all these institutions and the systems America has all fell from the sky. Boo. No, there were individuals. There were people who said, we need to do this. This is why some of these institutions that they have are named after leaders. Let me introduce you to something you might not know. America has got a tradition that has been practicing since its inception. It is called the peaceful transfer of power. Do you know who invented that? No, actually, let me use the term inventing. A man called George Washington. Shortly after fighting the war against the British, and he was revered. He was praised. They wanted him to be king. He said no, served one term and left power peacefully. That, as a tradition, has become something that we all admire. Something we've not seen in Uganda for more than 60 years we've been independent. It was actions of one man, George Washington. So when you say Museveni is not the problem, who is there to be blamed? Who is going to be held accountable for the failures we have seen in Uganda? Oh, Museveni is not the problem. What's the problem? Who is the problem? It is the systems built by who? Built by whom? Tell us. Oh, these systems just appear out of the blue. That's what you're trying to imply, which is a lie. So all these are folks who usually pose as Pan-Africanists. See me? I'm going to tell you, Africa, I love Africa more than other people.
I see.
Ask me why.
Why?
Because the system is built to protect American interests.
No, it's not. And if the system is built to protect the American interests, then how about you change it? We have leaders who have tried. And if you think that it cannot be changed, then you're trying to imply that the American people have special abilities that we do not have. What is so special about Americans and other races that they were able to do what we cannot do? It takes leaders. Actually, Marcus Garvey told us that if we cannot do what other people have done, if we cannot transform the lives of our people just like other people have, then we're not worth of living. It's better we die. And I agree. These systems you're talking about were built by American people. Were built by people in the USA. The systems we see in Europe, more especially Western Europe countries, they were built by their people. South Africa here is able to have peaceful transfer of power as a result of the actions of one man Nelson Ohilela Mandela, saying, okay, Mandela could have argued that he wanted to be president for 20 years to compensate the 27 years he was in prison at Robben Island. But he says, no, let another person come after me. Handing over power. He was quite popular by the time he left power. Do you know that? But now every person that would want to stay in power in South Africa for more than 5, 10, or how many years, they'll be invoking Nelson Mandela. Says you cannot betray the dream and the desires of Nelson Mandela. So don't tell us about the systems are the problems and the policies. Who's responsible for those policies and systems? That's why a president works with other people. He delegates, he shares part of his authority with other people. Through ministries, we have a Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Sports. Use some of the power I have given you that has been entrusted in me by the Ugandan people to build these systems. If Museveni is not willing to fire those people who have failed to build systems, then he's the one to blame. For example, now the wife of Museveni, Museveni's wife, is the Minister of Education in Uganda. Look at the education system in Uganda, in complete shambles. Then you have Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Museveni's son, as the commander of the defense forces. What is he doing? Abducts people, tortures them, brags. He gloats in abducting and torturing people. Then do we blame the West about that? Actually, with reasoning of folks like Miguna Miguna and Maponga, they will blame Elon Musk for owning Twitter, where Muhoozi Kainerugaba posted pictures after torturing Bobi Wine's bodyguard. They'll be like, it is the West that is behind this. If Elon Musk didn't have X platform, would you have known about the torturing of Eddie Mutwe, Bobi Wine's bodyguard? That's the argument. Come on. I won't be taking lectures from these folks. They don't care about the suffering of the people. America wasn't as strong. I don't know whether you know that. America wasn't strong before the 1900s. It was after the First World War, and actually, to be exact, the Second World War, where it emerged with this influence it has. And this country has had generations of empires that have been ruling. So America's strength is not an isolated or an exception. There was a Roman Empire. There was the Ottoman Empire. There was a time when the Moors were ruling the world. Let's not, let's stop blaming people for our failures. Let's own it up and build from scratch. We can do it. They did it. We can do it as well. Let's not blame people. Even if they were selfish, even if they were trying to push their own agenda onto us, that's who we are. People, man, we are selfish. How about we lead a struggle to build a better future and teach them that, hey, this is the better way of doing things, instead of every time using them as scapegoats for our failures. I don't like it. So Miguna, I won't be taking lectures from you, a Canadian citizen who wants to teach me about Pan-Africanism. Shut up. Sounds like I'm pissed. Okay. That's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Please stick around. I'll be back here soon. My name is Mordecai Murisa. Bye-bye for now.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.